All right, let's talk about a term you hear absolutely everywhere these days, machine learning. But what does it even mean for a machine to learn? It's not about robots becoming self-aware or anything like that. No, it's about a completely radical new way of thinking. Let's dive in and break it down.
So that leads us to the big question, right? How does an artificial intelligence actually learn anything? I promise it's not magic. It's a really fundamental shift in how we build technology. And to really get it, we've got to first look back at how we used to do things.
For the longest time, we're talking decades, there was basically just one way to make a computer do something. We can call it the old way. And it was all about giving it super specific instructions. Think of it like a really strict recipe for a cake. A human programmer have to write out every single line of code. Add exactly this much flour. Mix for precisely 30 seconds. Check the temperature. And if you missed a single step or got one tiny thing wrong, the whole process would just fail. The machine couldn't think for itself. It couldn't adapt at all. It just blindly followed the rules it was given.
But that rigid, step-by-step way of doing things, that has completely changed. We've moved into what we can call the new way. And it's a method that isn't about giving instructions anymore. It's all about providing experience.
And honestly, this single idea right here is the heart of the entire machine learning revolution. We've shifted from programming a rigid machine that just follows rules to training a student that actually gets better with practice. The machine is no longer just a calculator. Now, it's a learner.
And this chart breaks down that difference perfectly. On the one side, you've got traditional programming. It's static, right? It just follows the rules a human wrote, and that's it. It can't adapt. But on the other side, you have machine learning. It's totally dynamic. It learns straight from data. And, this is the key part, it improves with experience. This means it can start to handle situations its creators never even imagined.
Okay, so if the AI is the student, then who's the teacher? What's giving it all this experience it needs to learn? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's data. And not just a little bit of data. We're talking massive amounts of it. So here's the key definition. Learning from data basically means that instead of telling a machine this is a cat, you just show it millions of pictures of cats. The machine then analyzes all of that information and starts to figure out the patterns for itself. It says, okay, a lot of these things have pointy ears and whiskers and a tail. I get it.
So, how does this actually work in practice? It's really just a simple three-step loop. First, input. You feed the system a ton of data, like all those cat photos. Second, learn. The AI sifts through all that data to recognize the common patterns. And finally, step 3, output. You show it a brand new photo it's never seen, and it uses those patterns it learned to make a prediction, like, yep, that's a cat.
And the result of this whole learning loop, well, it's pretty incredible. Machines start to develop abilities that we used to think were uniquely human. They get crazy good at recognizing patterns, not just in images, but in things like the stock market or medical scans. They use those patterns to make decisions. And most importantly, the more data they see, the better they get. Which brings us to our final and maybe the most important point in this whole process. The performance of any AI system is directly tied to the quality of its teacher. And remember, the teacher is the data. It all comes down to this super simple equation you see right here. More data equals better learning. It's that straightforward. An AI trained on 1 billion examples is almost always going to outperform one that's only been trained on 1 million. That sheer volume and variety of data is the fuel that powers modern AI. And that leaves us with a final, pretty big thought to consider. If these powerful systems learn directly from the vast sea of data that we create, all of our text, our images, our choices, then what exactly are we teaching them about our world and about ourselves?